We gotta get you on record.
So,
Is he going?
Yep.
Then what happened?
well, that's a few months after that. He had 2 horses now that he's boarding, and so forth. It's getting expensive. And he called me up one night. I said, Clark, he says, there's going to be a chaplain from Torrance that stops by your house tonight, and he's going to bring his son in a truck, and they're going to pick up that table, and he's going to pay you. Oh, so, okay, no problem. And your conversation with Ron never lasted just 5 minutes. I mean, we went on about everything on the sun. But anyhow, he calls me up the next day, and he said, did they come for the table? And I says, well, there was a man here last night that claimed he was a chaplain of Torrance, but he had this hippie son, and I just couldn't bring myself to let your table go to, people like that, especially a hippie son, and so forth. And it was pure quiet on the other end of the phone. I knew it was coming, but I knew it was coming. After the silence, he says, "Some kind of Christian you are." And he went on and on and on. And finally I said, "Ron, I have your money." Then silence set in. Silence again. And I heard this, ho, ho, ho. He says, "I knew you were a kid." I said, "No, you didn't. I got you." But that silence, those silent periods with Ron, it wasn't immediate. But when he said, "Some kind of Christian you are," it was all I could do to keep from laughing. And as soon as I said, "Ron, I got your money." Quiet. He chewed me out pretty good.
I'm sure it was deserved after that. After that, it was deserved.
I just said, "I got you."
What was the dog that you had? Obi or Obadiah? And you used to play this little game. I don't know if you remember this, Lori. That you had your little coffee table there, and he loved cookies. So you'd put a cookie like on the side of the table, and he would walk around the table about ready to die.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't touch it. He'd kind of look at it. He's walking around. Do you remember this? Obadiah.
Yeah.
And the cookie, and he wouldn't do anything until you.
I remember Bob and the family were in, and Bob was sleeping on that couch right below the staircase there, and nobody was making a big fuss in the basement. So I said, better let him up. So I let him up. There was old Bob. Bob slept, his lips were flying all over the place and snoring and all that and so forth. So I put a cookie right up behind the couch, right up on top, and I ran upstairs, and you could look down and see it. And Obi starts squealing and carrying on and going crazy. Finally, Obi jumped up on his chest. And Bob said, "Oh, what the hell is wrong with you?" He's fighting Obi. Then he looked up and we looked at each other. Obi was going to get that cookie one way or the other. But,
You did the same with hot dogs.
Huh?
The hot dogs, you did that with Obi.
Oh yeah, he got smart about that though. I tied a thread so he couldn't see the thread, and I'd hide in the back part there, lay the hot dog down on the floor, and hide in the back room. Well, Hope would come up and see it, and he'd just like almost pounce, but then I'd pull the hot dog. Well, this only worked a couple times. Because the next time we did it, he didn't jump at the hot dog. He jumped the head of the hot dog, and I pulled it right into his mouth.
He wasn't,
Huh?
he wasn't dumb.
No, he wasn't dumb at all. he'd always want to leave. You know, it was hard to keep him around the house. He wouldn't. So I remember one night he let him out for a little bit, and Hope was out in the front yard there, and he looked around and looked around. And I said, "Oh, he's ready to go."
It's not working?
No.
He probably sniffed another dog, you know, on heat or something. And all of a sudden, Opie walked around the house. Well, I took off the other way and sat on a neighbor's bank. And here comes Ob. You know, and this can be. And he almost walked into me. And I said, "Hi, Ob." Turned around. Back to the house. But that was funny. But I miss Ob to this day.
Yeah,
I miss him to this day.
I know.
But Ronnie had so much. Like I said, I love to talk to Ron. He's the only one I know could go and see a 2-hour movie and tell you take him 5 hours to explain it to you.
Yeah.
You know, those are the ones that used to kill me.
Right. And he tell you twice.
Huh?
He tell you about it twice.
Yeah.
5 hours one day and another.
Right. I kept saying, "Ron, I'll go watch a movie." No, he had this. I don't know. Like I said, I don't expect to meet anybody like Ron again. Not my whole life.
Now, did you know he always was after treasure? You knew that.
He was what?
After treasure hunting.
Obviously, Mark is too.
Yeah, he was after treasure. He would be a treasure.
Oh, that.
Well, you heard the one about Napoleon and his ships.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you guys heard this part of it though. So you probably all heard one side of it from him.
Right.
I heard another side because he was always in the recruiting business too.
Right.
So he wanted to recruit me
Right.
to help him on a business side, legitimize
Right.
who he was,
Right.
pave the way for him to get in through the French and Egypt government. Okay. So I just said, "Ron, there's just no way that first of all, that it's probably there. If it was there and it was really worth $7 billion, somebody would have found it."
I tried to use that on him too. It didn't work.
Well, that's right. I think that encouraged him. That just encouraged him.
Right.
So anyway, he's doing all this, and he's letting me know all the time, and he's working with this, and every time he's working with these salvagers and the government and the prime minister and all these different people. And I just said, "Ron, I can't help you. It's just way over my head. Can't help you. I'm sorry." And he says, "Well, I know it's there. It's going to happen," and all this stuff. And so one day, and I don't know if you know this part, I never read the New York Times, ever. And for some reason, I went online somehow, and I just went to the New York Times online. And I see this article. Napoleon treasure found in Abacore Bay.
Yeah, that's right. He had it pegged. He actually had it pegged.
Yes.
But he couldn't pull all these elements together. Yeah, I was gonna be the chaplain to the Queen of England. Once he finally got it, But he wanted me to be on the boat in case somebody tried to kill him. Well, I said, "What do you think they're going to do to me?" Pat me on the head. Oh, he had all of us figured in somewhere.
They found it though.
Yeah.
They found it.
In
Now
the same
part.
area that he wanted to look for.
Oh, undoubtedly,
Yeah.
they scooped him.
Oh, yes.
Undoubtedly.
Oh, yes, I'm sure.
But think about that. For as just wild and crazy.
Well,
thing. It was real.
Think about all the crazy stuff that has been real.
Right.
When the Wright brothers started building that plane, they thought they're loony boons, and by God, they made a plane,
I know.
Yeah.
and
All
it
of
flew.
it. No, that's the beauty of Ron's genius. It was that he.
Oh, could he investigate?
Oh, I know.
So he had to have an IQ of way out
Well,
there?
he was, you know,
It's his imagination he had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And this curiosity that it would go way beyond me. You
it
know.
really was something.
Yeah.
I remember really, you know, I of course sent it to him and I said, Ron, wow, I am sorry. And he said, I told you, and you just wouldn't believe
Right.
me.
I heard about that being
Yeah,
found too.
I know.
And I just sat there and said, oh my God. I mean, we'd have probably died in the effort.
Oh, sure.
In the rowboat to go out.
Right.
Oh, there would have been a lot of killings.
If there's that much jewels involved, someone's going to die. You know?
Not to mention jail time.
Yeah. And, but I like the idea of being the chaplain to the Queen. I thought that was pretty cool. But
You'd have to wear a kilt, though.
I'd wear a kilt, whatever it took. I'd wear a kilt. Wouldn't bother me.
Just so you could wear some Spanx underneath it, huh?
Yeah, he just about drove me insane on the treasure thing. And then there was some treasure out close to where he lived, buried somewhere. And he said, oh, and he was very interested in that too. Yeah, he's probably the most entertaining guy. Like I said, nobody ever made me laugh as much as Ronnie. And get as pissed off as I used to get. Wrong! You know. But he was, I don't think his mind was ever idle,
No.
you know. I don't think ever. He asked me once to do the captions for his cartoons. He said, you know, you're pretty good at captions and stuff like that. And I said, nah. I said, you make your cartoons too complicated, you know?
Yeah.
And I kept saying, you know, get it down to maybe a single idea.
Right.
You know, you have him looking all over the place for stuff, you know, and he never could do that.
Right.
Because it's just too much inside of him for him to come up with a simple phrase,
Right.
you know. And fascinating, man. So like I say, I used to really like to talk to him, but I dreaded his call all at the same time. Yeah.
I think there's about 4 of them out there right now.
They have
Yeah.
pets outside.
But when I think of
So does
people's
mine.
lives and who's considered important in this world and all the rest and so forth,
Right.
can you imagine the workover God's going to get now? I mean,
Well, obviously he had some downtime.
Okay, am I going to call Ron up now?
Or,
Oh my
like,
God, it
I
looks
have a
like
block
Ronnie
of
Taylor.
time
yeah.
for entry.
Trudy pulled on me on a transfiguration when, you know, Jesus up on the mountains aglow, you know, and all the rest and so forth. And she said, how did the disciples know that was Moses and Elijah? Nobody said anything,
Right.
you know,
They never met him.
right?
Right.
And I'm sitting in a pulpit thinking about that.
I missed that day in class, huh?
Well, it's not the kind of stuff you want to preach about, you know?
It's a good thing you never get this from the crowd.
All right. Oh my.
I never thought about that one before.
I always tell stories, you know, when I'm preaching. I said, the reason I do it is just before you start dozing off, you know, I got to keep you awake somehow to get to the offering. You know, we don't want to miss that. You know, one guy said, "Has anybody ever fallen asleep while you're preaching?" Yeah, I said, I have myself. I said, I wasn't going to sit around listening to that stuff, you know. Oh, but the one I was going to use Sunday was, and it kind of fits in a way. Let's see if I can make it fit Sunday. But this preacher went to a car lot and he spotted a car he really wanted bad. And so he tried to Jew the guy down in price because it's a pretty expensive car too and so forth. He tried everything he knew, and finally he said, "You know, sir, I'm just a poor preacher." And the guy said, Yeah, I know. I've heard you preach. So, I throw my little stuff in.
Where are the churches that you're?
Oh, they're all over the place.
Are they?
Yeah, it's a lot of little churches, you know, that time passed by, you know, and not big. Although the one in Brookville and Reynoldsville is still pretty good size. But,
They're an hour away.
I think we passed Reynoldsville coming up.
yeah. Oh, you did?
I think so,
Yeah.
isn't it? No?
It's
north
right
of
off
here.
80.
80.
Yeah.
80 is north
North,
of here,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we probably wouldn't have passed it. There's a Reynolds something down there.
Yeah. The one I used last week was, what did I use last week? What story was it? Oh! You know, this was a temptation of Jesus in 40 days and so forth. And I said, oh, I only have one story about the devil. And I said, the devil came to church one morning. And everybody was screaming and hollering and scared and running. And the devil looked up front, and here's this guy just as calm as can be standing there. Well, that made the devil upset. He likes to be feared. And the devil went up to the man, and he says, don't you know who I am? He said, yeah, I know who you are. And he said, well, you know, I could hurt you real bad. You know that. Oh, he said, I don't think so. He said, why do you say that? I said, because I've been married to your sister for 35 years. And I'm still here. But the one, Trudy, the one told me the one, boy, they really got some mileage on it. But this old guy always wanted to fly in a helicopter. And his wife was putting him down all the time, and you know, the cost and this and that and stuff. But one day, he was getting up in years now, and he said, you know, I'm going to have a helicopter ride today. Well, she said, how much is it? And he says, $50. She said, $50 is $50. And he said, go to the airport, and she went with him the whole way to the airport. You know, $50 is $50. And went on there at the airport, and the pilot was there. And same thing, all over the place. She's all over, $50 is $50. And finally the pilot said, look, I'll take you both up. And if neither one of you say a word, the ride's free. They get in, up, they're spinning around and all the rest. He finally comes down and lands. And he looks back at the guy and he says, well, I guess the ride was free. He said, well, he says, by the way, where's your wife? And he said, well, you did one of those fancy curves up there, and the door came up and she fell out. He said, why didn't you say something? He said, $50 is $50. The one Ronnie liked, and he did a cartoon, I still have it, of this lady. These two brothers lived with their mother, and the one had a little cat, Fluffy. And the guy with the cat decided he was going to go on a short vacation. And so he does. Then he put his other brother in charge of the cat. And so he called his brother back home, and he says, there's some idle talk. He said, by the way, how's Fluffy? Well, his brother said, Fluffy's dead. I said, dead? You know, why would you say just so bluntly like that? I mean, couldn't you have said, you know, Fluffy got on the roof, and then Fluffy got tangled up in the electrical wires, and so and then Fluffy was electrocuted, but Fluffy died peacefully at the ground, you know. And they said, oh, okay, I'll remember to approach it that way next time. He says, how's Mother? He says, she's on the roof. Ronnie just loved that. He always had Mother's on the roof. So that's how I keep them awake. I just little stories along the way. So, yeah.
Boy, those are good ones. Man.
Trouble is you have to remember where you told them because I said, but it's not bad in a way because most of you people are old. You'll forget them in a week or so, and I can use them over. If I don't forget them,
Didn't you have some lady stop you there?
Oh yeah, I told one lady I was going to, and I was starting to get confused what stories I told where. And I said, if I start to tell a story, I've used before, I just want you to, casually to go, I was halfway through this story and I looked at it and just, I said, too late, I'm going to tell it anyway. So, no, I enjoyed trying to get the sermons ready. Like I said, they're getting harder as I get older. And, but I enjoy going out. Besides that, they pay you.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah, they pay you. So that's what I really think I was meant to be, a supply pastor. Because you quite often congregational life would about kill you, But this way you walk in and you walk out and
Yeah,
give
you're
you a check and you're on your way home.
yeah.
Blow in, blow off, and blow out.
Right.
Blow in, blow off, and blow out.
That's the definition of a supply pastor. Somebody who blows in, blows off, and blows out.
Do you remember what you said to us when you married us, when it was over?
No.
So
Because we
After-
give him the setting. He remembers
we
the
were
setting.
up on Artist Point,
Mm-hmm.
so there was pretty much nothing behind you. It was
There sure
had
wasn't.
us there. Yep. And so you turned around and you turned us around and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I want to present to you, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Taylor." And the clouds opened up. It was
Oh
cloudy.
yeah, he told me about that.
And the sun came and hit us, but then
True.
when the sun hit us, everyone was like, and then
Yeah.
Arkie said, "And if you two ever decide to get divorced, I'm going to bring you right back up here and just push you right off the edge."
Well, I saw the end, but it was kind of scary.
What you said was scary enough that we're
Keep
still
us together.
I don't do that for everybody. Of course, the clouds don't always open for everybody either.
Oh. Wow.
There's something that goes along with that story in that card.
Oh, is that right?
That's great.
Should we open it now?
Should we turn this off?
Yeah, turn that.
Oh, yeah.
Or around.
Or around. Oh, my gosh. Who are these kids? Wow, Teresa. Well, I guess you could. Can you see that? That's,
You
wow.
saw these in the car.
Yeah. These are the ones from the car.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing this one. Oh, look at Margot, too. You know what?
Because Rick wasn't there.
We had a photographer for our wedding, and he was there and took all the photos, and then he left the country because he was being chased by the law. And we never got our photos from our
We only have a contact sheet.
Our photographer left the
Oh,
country.
Yeah, he was a criminal.
He was a criminal.
Obviously, we didn't know.
And so we never saw our photos.
Well, there you go. Now you have some.
Look at
Put together
that.
a little book.
There's Arkie right there. He's right there on the ends of the
Hold it
rock.
right there.
He's leaning in. Wow, look at that. Oh, and there's Mom right there.
Rehearsal dinner.
Wow.
And I remember the first time
Oh, yeah, that's right.
he showed me a picture of you. Was it a picture or what?
It was a watercolor, a
Yeah.
painting.
And then I met you.
I remember this.
And honest to God, I said, I have seen that face for years. He has been he was painting when he painted a woman. It was you.
Isn't that wonderful?
No, it seemed the moment he found somebody that looked how he painted women, it seemed to all fit.
Well, he proposed 12 days
No
after
wonder
our
the
first
clouds
date. He
opened.
must have just known.
No wonder the clouds opened up.
Okay, so I I have another story. Because I had not met the family at all. And so, and I'm freaking out because I'm meeting the entire family. And we're getting married in like 2 days. And so Arkie comes into the house and he's looking around and he meets me and he was very polite and sits down. Kind of how he holds court. You wouldn't know what I meant about that, would you? And the first thing Arkie said was, he looked at everyone in the family and he said, "Well, should we vote on her?"
Too late to vote.
But that's what you said. I'm going, they're going to vote on her. I was so scared. And then he goes, "Ha, ha, ha."
And then they voted.
I knew by
Thank God it was unanimous.
I knew by looking at him it was far too late to vote.
That was my first introduction to, before anything. That was the first thing I heard meeting everyone. And I really thought,
Take the votes on there.
if there weren't enough votes, we'd have to find someone else to marry him.
Wow.
I do remember that trip.
Yeah.
I do remember.
And then you had come up and stayed at our cabin in the mountains, and he slept on a futon, and he talked all morning about how comfortable that bed was. All morning long. What is that again? That is the most comfortable bed I've ever slept on.
The futon
The futon.
at the cabin.
At the cabin, the bed that you slept in downstairs was a futon bed.
Well, you could go
loved
to the
it.
cabin for the sake of meditation and all the rest and so forth. But if I'd have gone there for a whole week by myself, I would have been stark raving mad. I could never take that kind of silence.
Really?
You know?
I could.
Huh?
I could.
Well, Lori stayed there. You guys, both of you know.
Well, we had to find things to do and so forth, and I was looking for a moose or something like that, or a bear from inside because I heard about
Right.
your close call and what was his name? Your dog?
Jackson or
Scout.
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 Yeah.
A Scout protected you one time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Scout was something else, boy. That
Yeah.
dog. He was.
Didn't Scout lose a leg over it?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Not over that, but he lost a leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
that was a wild place. You've been up there. It's
Heaven.
pretty. Yeah.
It's heaven on
Yeah.
earth right there.
Oh, it's a beautiful sight. It was
That
a
mountain
beautiful
off
sight.
the deck. Meeker. Is it Meeker?
Mount
Yeah.
Meeker. Yeah.
That's my mountain. That's
Yeah.
mine. I've claimed it.
Well, Taylor Mountain was right next to it.
Taylor Mountain was right next door. Yep.
Yeah.
That was fun.
So you were close.
See, I felt. I knew it felt like home.
Did you know that the cemetery is in West Taylor Township?
Is that right?
Yeah, and
Wow.
it came up on my GPS
Oh, yeah.
this morning that was West Taylor Township. And there's East Taylor Township and North and South. I didn't know that.
That's something.
No.
Well, my dad loved going up there a lot. He would.
Did he enjoy going up?
Yeah.
Your dad?
He loved going up there. He would sit out there. We'd go out looking for elk. That was the big thing, elk out there. And so he'd just sit down and he said, "You're just going to have to sit down and not say a word and just sit." And he'd sit like over there somewhere, and I'd sit over here. And that was hard for me to sit there for like an hour and not move. Or he says, but you always see him if you just watch and you don't move, because you'll see the movement. That's what you'll see, the movement. And boy, was he right. You know, you'd always see something, but it would like.
Didn't he bring you a gun out because he was getting afraid of you being up there without any protection at all?
Yeah, he gave me one, a rifle,
High-powered one
a
tut
high-powered rifle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you showed us that when we were there.
Yeah, probably had it under the bed.
They were under the bed.
But, yeah.
Because you know
We
you're in
had
trouble if you're.
we didn't tell you this one though, but we were there one evening and had friends over in the middle of the summer, and a friend of ours, their daughter was struggling mentally a little bit, and so she would say stuff, and you wondered what people would would be thinking, right, when she would say something. Well, she went down and sat at this little swing chair we had. You remember the swing chair? And we were all up on the deck. And so she said, "Hey, everybody, I see a bear down here." And they're all going, "Oh, Marilyn."
Those
You
are
know,
turkeys.
Those are, yeah, you wouldn't see that. And she goes, no, it's right down here. And so after a while, Teresa walked down, and then Scout, picked up his head, and he ran right down. Next thing you know, this bear runs right past Teresa, like a couple feet in front of her, with
He was
Scout right behind the bear.
As big as a Volkswagen bus.
Yeah.
That bear was. I'm not bus. I mean bug. It
bug,
was
yeah.
big.
But right behind her, all of a sudden we see Teresa going, "Oh my God!" There's the bear and there's the dog, right there.
And I was in a maxi dress, like a summer. Oh, honey.
Yeah.
And it did bother you. It just.
It really didn't bother me because Scout
like
was.
that my dad would
Oh.
say, he says they're a lot more afraid of you than you are of them. Of course,
Scout
when you
wasn't
see
gonna
them,
let
you don't
them
think.
near
Been
us.
very
Did you hear that
either.
Pat and Mike story about they were out walking in the woods, and
Tell us.
all of a sudden this grizzly starts chasing them, and they start running, and finally Pat stopped and put on a pair of tennis shoes, and Mike said to me, he said, "Even with tennis shoes on, you're not going to be able to outrun that bear." He said, "Well, I just figured out to outrun you."
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I cannot believe that you had these. This is
I'm
so.
so-
Actually, they were Dad's, and he gave me all his photo
Wow.
albums, and I'm like, what?
We don't have
I was
any.
singing
We don't
going
have.
to the chapel at my own wedding
Oh. Yeah.
with my maid of honor and Sweet Joe Simmons from a band called the Persuasions. Like the Spanish
Yeah.
he sang it with me.
There's a guy. Who's the guy that Gwen plays with us?
George
George
Nelson.
Nelson. Was he there?
He was there too.
So
yeah.
George Nelson is in our area famous pianist and a singer. Yeah, and